boy, that was a rough episode.
We gotta get you to a hospital.
No, it's over. But the Justice Society must live on. Someone with strength and heroism must carry the torch.
I'll try.
Not you. Definitely not you.
I should have realized as soon as we got comfortable, DC was gonna go ahead and sucker punch us right in the face. Aloha! Welcome to Cyntillating Reviews, where today we will be reviewing episode 3 of the hit DC Universe original, Stargirl. Now this episode was one of the most emotional episodes that we had. Come on DC, what else do you have in store for us? You know what? Don't answer that. This review will be in the style of a podcast, so if you want to minimize this video while doing something else while listening to me, feel free to do so. I will not be offended. Spoiler alert is now in effect. Last week we saw Stargirl and Stripe, or her father, Pat, defeat Brainwave and put him in the hospital, upsetting his son Henry Jr. And we see Jordan step inside the American Dream building with CFO, and looking at a footage that shows the possible return of a new Starman. We go back in the past 8 years ago in Blue Valley, Nebraska, where we see Jordan holding hands with his son Cameron. They walk in a room where his mom is on her deathbed. The heartbeat monitor beeps higher, upsetting his son as he runs out of the room. Jordan tells his wife, Christine, that the world will pay for what they've done to her, but she says for him to continue his plan and to destroy anyone that will stop him. Out of rage, Jordan steps outside in the garden, screaming in agony for the loss of his wife, as his son Cameron looks out that his father is howling in pain and freezes the garden. Fast forward to the present, our girl Courtney is getting ready to go to school, where she meets up with Pat, and she explains herself to him that she has found out who she is, and she made a 3-point plan of find them, surprise them, and kick their asses. Pat is still nervous for Courtney that she could get herself killed or hurt. At the hospital, Henry Jr. gets startled of a coffee cup that moved on its own. He stands, and when he turns around, he sees Jordan standing outside of the hospital room peering on, obviously getting the scoop of the ISA. We see William now, who is avoiding the continuous phone calls from Jordan. Moving to school, we see Courtney walking away from the damage that she's done from the night before. She meets with Joey, who is practicing his magic trick for the talent show. She then meets Yolanda, who's in tears as someone vandalized her locker. Pat walks in the hospital and chats with Dr. Chapel, who is Beth's mother, that he is a, quote, friend of Dr. King, obviously trying to get a scoop of Brainwave. This is where Pat figures out that Brainwave is not by himself. William returns home to find Jordan sitting outside to let him know that Brainwave is in a coma. William states that he didn't feel the need to call Jordan, and why should he if Brainwave already did? Jordan becomes upset that William was supposed to take charge while Jordan was away. This is where we realize that William killed his master, teacher, when he became in realization of his powers. This also explains where Jordan was all this time. He was hunting and killing everyone that made his wife, Christine, ill due to toxins that entered in her body, which resulted killing her, and that Project New America is now his big goal. Not really sure what that project entails. We'll end up figuring that out later. At the pit, Pat is working on improving Stripe, where he receives a phone call from Mike's teacher telling him that he was playing games in class. Mike and Pat had a little father-son heart-to-heart, basically teaching him a lesson that any parent would, and that Mike would be getting the paper route. Mike's face here is priceless. That was basically me when I got my very first job at a mom-and-pop restaurant, and my first day was Easter morning. I'm like, you're kidding me. Moving to the American Dream, Jordan makes his introduction and makes the speech that basically is sugarcoating the plan of Project New America, where it sounds like he's going to be placing something in each city in America. Barbara steps in and says something about her past of a theater that was built in a certain location in Blue Valley. Jordan actually takes interest in this and decides to move on with that idea. Courtney sees Yolanda with another student and sees that her locker was painted again, but more in a positive look of flowers and vines to cover up the word slut. Courtney steps in to defend Yolanda from the girl with the slut shaming, yet Yolanda told her to stop as things will get worse. In class, Courtney peeks over a student's shoulder to look at his notebook, realizing that he was the one that painted Yolanda's locker as the style matches. Back at the American Dream, Barb sits in her office and Jordan walks in, startling her, resulting Barb to knock down her pictures. Jordan steps in where we now unfortunately has in his mind on who Stargirl is, but the conversation continues civilly as they are moving forward with Barbara's plan of the community theater. Courtney leaves school and walks to the Blue Valley Park where there is snow on the ground, realizing that on the ground is the shape of a star, one that is similar to Stargirl's star. Courtney returns home to tell Pat about this, and the back and forth bickering starts once again, and they need to do something while he is once again telling her that it is dangerous for her to do anything. Before it continues, Mike comes downstairs interrupting their conversation, and Pat gives him $20 to go uptown to get whatever he wants. This is so he doesn't hear the conversation of Stargirl and Stripe, and so he's not wrecking his appetite for dinner for vegan casserole. Ugh. Anywho though, Pat says that if it is Icicle, it's more likely a sign that he wants to be seen and the trap has been set to lure Courtney out. The staff appears whirling behind Pat that it wants justice for Starman and that they are going no matter if Pat wants to come or not. Dressed in suit, Stargirl and Stripe arrive at the scene. The ice melts, the wind picks up. Courtney jumps away. Stripe has been attacked by icicles, freezing the control panels and resulting Pat to not move. Courtney runs to the forest trying to find Icicle. The staff moves in front of Courtney to protect her from the blast, showing Jordan his true form of Icicle. Before he can make the last punch at Stargirl, Stripe's hand forms in a fist, leaving the robot and hitting him away from Courtney, landing him on the bridge. Stargirl heads towards the bridge, but Icicle freezes the cement, resulting the road to be completely full of ice. The bus crashing and tilting over the bridge, and before it can go into the river, Stripe carries the bus back to safety. And Stargirl is using that shining light from the staff to blind the kids so they wouldn't see Stripe. But that didn't end there. Icicle blows wind towards Joey, the kid from earlier with the card trick, blows a card out of his hand. Joey stands and runs to reach it, but a pickup truck comes, and off the scene, Joey gets hit by the truck, resulting in his death. Back at Joey's home, his mother is in a panic on why Joey isn't answering her calls. William returns home, breaking the sad news with his emotions that he's gone. William snaps and runs upstairs, unlocking a safe with his hand, and runs back downstairs. At the pit, Courtney is sobbing that Joey, a classmate and friend, was killed by Icicle. Pat takes Courtney to headquarters of the JSA, explaining to her about each superhero that used to sit at the JSA. Courtney noticed an owl sitting on a perch that belonged to Dr. Midnight. He's been waiting for Dr. Midnight for so many years. I am getting to thinking that this owl will play a big part with Beth later. If I can recall, Beth was Dr. Midnight in the comics. Let me know if that's wrong. Pat admits that him and Courtney are not up against Icicle, especially if he killed all of the JSA. The two once again are going back and forth with the bickering that they must stop Icicle and the ISA. And Pat made the final rule that unless otherwise, no more Stargirl and Stripe. We arrive at the home of Jordan where William is there, pleading Jordan to tell him that it was an accident that his son died. William pulls out his wand, ready to strike him until Icicle freezes William in his wand, resulting in William's death. We see Cameron walking his home, and this is where we learn that he is the son of Icicle, the little boy who lost his mother 8 years ago, the same boy and kid who painted the flowers to cover up Yolanda's vandalized locker. Before the end credits, we return back to the JSA where props and materials are being picked up by Courtney, and she picks up the most dangerous item in the room, the pink pen, where as soon as she touched it, it started laughing? I don't know what that was about, but we'll find out in the next episode. This episode really wasn't my favorite episode, yet it did show emotion, and yet it did show now that Icicle is willing to do anything to make sure that his plan does not get into the way of anything, and how it shows that he will use anybody and everybody towards his advantages. Like, he set up Joey to get killed by that truck and offsetting William, and before William could even strike Jordan, he freezes William, resulting in his death, and he made it a cover-up of a massive heart attack that was caused due to the loss of his son. So I'm not sure exactly what's next or who we're going to see next. I don't think this is going to be a solo game for Icicle. And this is where we will see Courtney take all of the props from the past heroes and she's starting her own little recruitment team. Like I said in the beginning, once we got comfortable, this is where DC decided to go ahead and kick us right into the teeth. Thank you guys so much for listening my review of Stargirl episode 3. If anything, I have to give Stargirl episode 3 maybe a 7 out of 10. Like, subscribe, help me grow Cyntillating reviews by sharing this video. If you are into the Yashahime series, I have decided to move that over to its own playlist now. This way it's not getting in the mess of Saturday Night Spotlight. If you are interested in just the Stargirl content, hit that bell and be notified for personal videos, or if you want to be notified for all of my content, make sure you select all notifications. This way you're not missing any uploads that I have coming your way. Thank you guys so much, and we'll see you next week for the new episode of Stargirl. Thanks for watching Let's Review with Cyntillating Reviews. If you want to read the full article of the review, click on the link down below. And we also have a Facebook, Twitter, and follow me on Instagram at CEMadison. Our simplest prevention is our biggest protection. Take care of yourselves and others as you practice social distancing, washing hands, and staying at home. Let's get better by starting to make our world better to reduce the spread of COVID-19. See you later on another day.